Welcome and thank you for watching today. It's been quite a while since the last time that we've posted a video. November has kept us busy and we've had a lot of things going on. I want to share some very exciting news with you and let you in on a little secret before it goes live. We've been conducting some studies and been doing quite a lot of training and a lot of learning. It's been an amazing learning curve, but a Ree-Seek will soon be launching the Ree-Seek Revolution, which contains a lot of training and thought-provoking ideas that therapy doesn't necessarily touch on. I've been spending time taking a deep dive into what are the important things that we overlook on a day-to-day basis, and more so understanding the human need. From a behavioral perspective, we have so many different kind of people that we deal with on a daily basis. We've been helping some companies develop strategies in terms of the business development and product enhancements, which I am very excited about. On NDA at the moment, so I can't share too much about that, but it's really focused on what the customer actually needs and what is missing in businesses today. Instead of relying on artificial intelligence to constantly tell you what you want, it actually hones into the human behavior and the mammalian side of your brain. It's very exciting. It's intriguing. Some of the stuff that we've been able to develop, the companies we've been working with and exploring these things, very excited to share it with you because on this channel, you'll be getting a lot of those things for free. Obviously, it won't be the comprehensive version, but some of those things that we can apply daily. And hopefully by February, March next year, we are actually going to be doing online courses and in-personal coaching and development around understanding the social needs, understanding your own needs, healing from trauma, helping you through depressive episodes, etc. There's a lot we've been doing, and thus I've been quite AWOL, and I apologize for it, but I promise you it's going to be so worth it. And the content that is to follow is for educational purposes, and I want to make sure that you understand this is by no means any psychological things that you can find when you go to a therapist. This is something from a personal perspective, from a learning and just an educational side of human behavior and what we can take throughout our daily life. We are going to be talking about human behavior and the things we've developed around human behavior and understanding how to deal with people, specifically if you are a neurodivergent, if you are a person that's healing from trauma, if you are a person with a different personality type, and more so to understand yourself and maybe get the characteristics and some of the things that you didn't know your personality held. So sit tight and enjoy this episode with me. It's going to be very thought-provoking, and I sincerely hope you enjoy it. The thought I want to start off today with is, if you don't understand yourself and you don't know what your needs are, and when I talk about needs, I'm not talking about your survival needs. I'm not talking about your daily, I need to eat, I need to drink, I need to do different things. I specifically want to talk about the emotional need. And in human behavior, what we'll be looking at today is understanding that there are 6 different types of people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, whether it be in the office, in your friend group, whether it be just randomly meeting strangers at a networking event. And today I want to help you to start identifying people and really reading a room to help you analyze and also not be manipulated as easily. If you can, it is thought provoking if you understand how simple it is and how crucial observation and listening are when it comes to honing these skills. Even when we were developing some of the strategic outlooks for some of the corporate companies we're doing business with at the moment, everything was centered around human behavior. It does make a difference. And the first thing I want you to think about when we go into this material is observe. Observation is key. There's a reason that exists. There's a reason our eyes are better than any camera or any other technology out there with its processing speed to our brain. Identify where you fall. In these 6 descriptions, very likely 2 of these would fit your personality profile profoundly. We'll be looking at the following: significance, acceptance, approval, intelligence, pity, and strength. Those are the characteristics we'll be discussing in depth today. I'm going to start off with the significance personality type that you might encounter. A significance person needs to be perceived in a certain way. They want to feel significance. Those would be brand named clothes, super tight fitting. They want to be admired. They want to feel important. And they want people around them to see how significant and different they are. If you have a conversation with them, things such as their roles, their duties, their responsibilities, what they drive, what kind of phone they have, a lot of materialistical things or status and ego driven things would be there. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Significance really comes from a perspective of this is what also drives you. And generally, people that are significance driven are also those people that excel at work because they do aspire to the next level. So there are different varieties in different areas, and none of these behaviors should be looked at as a completely negative or completely positive thing because there's always an in between and there's always a scale of where this belongs. What you need to understand when dealing with a significance person is if you want to have the conversation and really connect with them, do business with this type of person, or even live with someone, whether it be a friendship, a relationship, or a family member, is to understand what are the things that help them communicate with you. And if you look at them through this lens, it's going to be easy to communicate with them around things without seeing them as arrogant, egotistical, or seeing them as image orientated, because there is a deeper meaning and a very deep drive within someone that is significance driven. We look at the personality type of acceptance. These are people that you deal with that are very fond of memberships or teams. They would refer to many things as we have gone on a great holiday, we spent so much time together, we have this great team at work. It's about belonging and being accepted in a group and in a certain tribe. This personality type is a very team orientated person and often are the people that really have the need to be accepted, to be liked, and people please big on acceptance and just wanting to belong and wanting to be part of a certain culture, a certain family, or whichever the case might be. This is quite a deep psychological root just to be accepted socially. And it is a human requirement and a human need to be accepted. Then we focus on the approval personality type. This is quite a unique individual, and this is a person that really needs your approval when they are going to do something. Very often, no matter how hard they work, no matter how secure they feel in what they've done, they will always want your approval first. This could be an indecisive personality type. It would be someone that seeks your approval before doing something. So typically, if you go out with a group of friends, the person that says, even though they are a knockout and they look absolutely amazing, are you sure I look okay in this? Does this color, isn't it too tight? Are you sure this is good? That is your typical approval seeking personality type. Even in events or in a corporate environment or friend environment, it's generally the person in your group that would feel they need the approval of the group before they do something. So if they start dating someone, it's going to be the person that wants approval from their friends or the acceptance that they think it's a good match or a good person before they take that next step. In a work environment, they would generally think of something, develop something, but won't pitch it unless there's a consensus of we can approve that this is a good thing. They don't have that personality type that feels I'm very confident in who I am and the decisions I make. And often this is a person as a child that would have been told that they have done things wrong. Why can't they think? They were always seeking approval of their parents or from someone in their friend group. So it's generally the person that is softer and not as outspoken and out there. Some of my favorite people, absolutely favorite people. And these are our intelligence based group types. These are the kind of personality types that would tell you where they went to school, what their highest qualification is, overachievers, someone that would talk to you about the papers that they've reviewed, what societies they belong to, if they had cum laude within their degrees, if they have a PhD. And very often we find some neurodivergence in this sector because they don't necessarily have all the emotional intelligence that society would want, but the significance in their intelligence is a really big part. And these are some of the best people to speak to because they have a wealth of knowledge. If you have the ability to look past your own judgments and your own frame of mind, to think that this person feels they are more superior or they think they know it all, generally they do have a lot of information that you can learn from them. And often we find highly intellectual people either arrogant or just not easy to speak to, or we have our own preconceived notions of what these people should look like. And if you understand the personality type and once you understand what you can get from them and how you should interact, it's one of the most fruitful, amazing experiences that you'll have. And what you can gain from it is just exceptional because they have so much to offer. Okay, so this next one is probably one of the hardest personality types that I struggle to get on with, and the toughest personality group to deal with, and that would be your pity person. So I've always experienced this in my points of view and through my lenses as a person that just always wants to complain and always wants to be the victim, and you need to feel sorry for them because of what they've been through. And they don't actually want you to solve their problems, they just want you to listen about what they've been through. So it is a hard personality type for me to listen to. And in my own shortcomings, this is something that we've been trying to build on. These are typically people that often fall ill or they'll be ill very often. The first chance they get, they will be telling you about their childhoods or about an experience they had. It's always going to come up, and very often the conversations will be very much centered around hardships and what people have been through, blaming reasons why they are the way they are because of people in their past, in their lives. For me, this is challenging because often I feel you can go through things. We all go through stuff, and it's almost like you want to say, you know what, just get over it. And it's a difficult type of personality group to deal with. If you know a petty person or you see a petty personality type in life, in business, in personal relationships, it's crucial for you to understand what effect it's going to have on your life. Because these people can be quite draining. They can really take a lot out of you because you're trying to pass on positivity, trying to pass on growth and advice. It's not needed yet, guys. So be careful with this personality type. And I'm not saying don't care about people or don't support people that have been through struggles. It's just recognize when this is a personality type and when it's not just a isolated incident. Just be careful with this personality type. I've had personal experience where the petty person is different draining factor for me because I want to enlighten and be positive, and advice should be given. This would be like negative conversations all the time and rehashing, and it's always someone else's fault. So this is like the only caution flag that I raise around a person that needs pity. And if your personality can handle it, absolutely great to be there for them and just to give them an ear because they do need someone to listen. And if you are a person that, and when you realize you do rely on pity as a communication style, as a social need, there are really so many resources out there. Specifically, if you feel you've realized you are this person, you want to grow, it's not something you want to be focused on. There are amazing therapists out there. It's so much information that's available, support groups, and people that just support each other. Is help out there. If you recognize this personality trait and you do want to break out of that scope. So it's also positive. It's not necessarily always just a negative aspect. Then you're going to meet the strength personality type. So generally, this would be a person that puffs up, they have the posture, they would speak about how intimidating they are, how strong they are, how they're not scared of someone, the people they know, the people that they are involved with. Yeah, so it's generally someone that comes across through strengths and they don't necessarily show weakness. It's again, there are positives and negatives to the personality type. Strength orientated people are generally those that have gone through a lot, and because of that they are very strong. And it's also very hard to connect with this personality type because of how strong they are, and vulnerability is not something that would come easily. However, if you do come close to a strength person, it can be an amazing, resilient type of relationship that you can have, to learn from them on how to be resilient, how to overcome certain things, what they've learned in life. So there is a lot of positivity in this personality group. Just be careful that this personality is not an overbearing personality to your own personality type. Look, if you go through this list, we all have some elements of this, or we should. Socially, these are things that are present in our daily lives. Two of these will be a lot more visible, something that you can identify with. And trust me, it's hard to identify your own personality type. And because a lot of this sounds negative, you could feel like, no, I'm not this. I don't want pity, or I'm not a strong person. These are not necessarily negative. It's just important to understand where this stems from. The key takeaway that I want you to have is many of these groups were formed from a childhood experience or formed from life experiences that people have been through. So there is a young adolescent mind that is driven by these things. So it is the root of where certain behaviors develop and stem from in our lives. So once you understand that inner need, it does give you area in your life where you can develop skills, or where you can get help, or find out what these things are that you can work on to develop yourself further. And when we go into the training, it's an absolutely immersive experience where you get to experience it through your own eyes, through your own beliefs, and expand the way you've always looked at things in a general perspective from your eyes and your experiences, but getting a bigger 360 view. I want to get into the fun side of this. As a human being, how we need connection, and there's a gap in communication. We can be quite harsh critics to each other when it comes to these personality types and behaviors. When you approach someone, when you observe certain things, because it's going to come from your eyes, because the eyes definitely are the key to your soul. When you go through the lens of understanding what personality type they are, you will definitely find empathy because of what someone has been through and what created the personality type. Empathy is so crucial when it comes to human behavior, and it's also equally crucial when it comes to warning signs about the people that you allow in your life. So, November was the pinnacle in South Africa against gender based violence, and the protest that happened, it was silent, but in many, many ways, we often miss significant signs that we felt, but we didn't know how to identify, and how easily we are manipulated into situations. When I say we, I'm not talking female specific, I'm talking as a human. If someone can identify your weakness or can identify your personality type or the behavior that you show, it's very easy to be manipulated based on those weaknesses and literally just speaking to the things that are important to you. That's why development and doing additional training, reading is so amazing because there's always room for growth. There's no point in our lives that we know enough, have been through enough that we can say, it's okay, I know everything. Something that's really special is if you understand your own personality type. It's crucial that you can also identify moments when your weakness is taking over and where it's influencing your decisions, your behavior, the way that you perceive things. And that's where support comes in. And again, training, reading, and I'm not saying necessarily you have to pay for things. There are many free resources out there. There are many amazing books that you can read. Guys, take on a mentor. And when I say mentor, I'm not talking about seek out a mentor. You can find free of charge on the internet so many people that have wealth of knowledge. You can take someone's 50 years of experience in one specific arena and learn from them by listening to a 2 or 3 hour podcast. Think about it. Everything they've learned, the highlights, you take the 80-20 rule, and I'm going to explain this to you. If you learn a new language, as an example, and you know 20% of that language, do you think you'll be able to communicate effectively? And I want you to think about it. Do you think you'll be able to communicate if you only know 20% of a language? The answer is yes. If you look at the 20% of the words within a new language that is used the most and have the crucial elements of you to communicate in that language, if you're traveling, think about the verses that you'll be using often. Think about the things that you would need to use whenever you are communicating in a different language. That is the fundamental 20% that will help you to engage. As more time you spend on the language, the more time you obviously communicate, you will be learning additional skills. But think about your personality, your behavioral type in the 80-20% range. 80% can be worked on, 20% needs to be understood. Okay. Fun things. With the Ree-Seek Revolution, we are offering quite a few entry-level training courses, and it goes into some of these kick-ass elements, such as understanding human behavior, understanding facial expressions, and learning to read subtle signs. We are going to be offering these, like I say, probably from February onwards. I am going to be leaking some information here and there just to give you some tips and highlights of what this is going to entail. Trust me, guys, it's so much fun. I had a blast developing the material, the people I've worked with. It's comprehensive and it's amazing to get the skill and hone it. Further to that, I wish I could give you more information around the strategy stuff, but if you need help developing certain strategies or a sales approach or figuring out what your way would be to do business development, you can reach out at any time. We are going to be posting certain things on our website very soon. So within the month of December, these elements will be available. So please reach out to us, contact us at any time if you need additional information.